welcome back. I know it's been a while, but not too long. We did a mock draft a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been
It's been
because
a little
everything
while.
has been nuts.
It has. It has. Dealing with
Life.
kids and all that stuff. It gets in the way. But I wanted to come up with a video after the draft, just to get our opinions on things and
Well, now you know who's there.
yeah, we know who's going to be on, hopefully be on the team.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be cuts made.
There are, but there's some that I'm hoping don't get cut.
I think you
That
guys
they
are going to cut a
sign.
couple of guards because you drafted two, and that gives you like six,
7.
seven.
I know.
I think there'll be a few that might get cut or sent to
Yeah.
the practice squad or traded or something.
Yeah, I mean, we had initially 5 on the roster, and they drafted 2 last night. Yesterday.
In the draft.
Between Friday and
I think
yesterday.
it's Sunday.
It, I know.
Today's our son's 18th birthday, our oldest,
Yes.
and it's been a busy like 3 days.
Yeah, doing that and dealing. Well, not dealing with, but planning his graduation party. And
Just had our nephew's birthday party. He was 17.
yeah, so it's hectic
Yeah.
in this household.
It's
But
expensive. That's
that
what it is.
that too. That's another reason too. But no, I wanted to get this out because I want to get better at making more and more videos, getting them out on time. Like I've said when we first started this channel. But like my husband said, life happens. But in retrospect of the off season, I think they did pretty well. I mean, they re-signed 13 players.
I think you guys did well. Obviously,
Chase and Higgins,
Jason Higgins was a big, not only an important signing,
right?
it was an expensive one. I'm glad I don't have to pay it.
Yeah. Oh no, we pay it with the merch and everything.
Yeah, the merch, the ticket. Well,
I mean, new
tickets,
tank top, I got a new jacket.
And every time that we watch it on TV,
Oh,
they get their
yeah,
cut
yeah.
of that shit.
That and there's still no word on Trey.
I'm wondering on that if that was designed. Let's wait after the draft.
I think so because I know I saw different things and from different people, and I never know what's trustworthy and what's just out there. My thing is everything that I read was like the Bengals were looking for a first round draft pick as part of a trade for Trey.
And I don't think they were ever going to get that.
No, I'm sorry. Nobody wants to give up their first round.
And that's nothing against Trey. He's good, but you're not giving up a first round draft pick for an edge. Period. Usually,
right.
You might use your first round draft that you've got for the edge for a young edge.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how old Trey is, but if this is the end of a contract,
30.
Yeah, you're not giving up a first round draft pick for a 30-year-old edge. It just ain't happening.
Right.
I wouldn't.
But I mean,
maybe a late second if I had an earlier second from a trade thing.
From looking at, because I made a list, I was prepared. Some of these, a lot of who they re-signed, they're 1-year deals.
Right.
1-year extension, 2-year extension, things like that. And there's honestly, I admit, I'm a Bengals fan, but I don't know every player.
Well, and some of these guys may very well be backups.
Yeah, like
you got a Cam Grandy, tight end, 1-year deal extension.
Yeah, he might be, like you said, practice squad.
Well, or just a backup. He's just there that.
And then we got some new arrivals.
Like this Jamar Chase, never heard of him.
Yeah, okay. I'm only
Never
after you right now for like Mother's Day or birthday to get a Chase or Higgins jersey.
Or a Chase jersey. What's the funny thing is, I cannot find any of those jerseys in women's in white. I can find them in black and orange.
So get it in white in men's and just do a smaller size.
Maybe. But it's funny, I cannot find them on NFL.com or the Bengals, which I think basically takes you to NFL.com.
Right.
Cannot find the official jerseys in white for women's on there. Now, either they sell out so fast that I'm missing them.
Could.
Or they don't offer the women's in the white.
Could be. Could
For
be.
you, we could go with youth.
Within reason, yes.
Mm.
But no, I mean, overall for the off season, they re-signed 13 players, which I thought was pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, you saw a lot of the other teams like they were
I mean,
losing
outside
players.
of Chase and Higgins, I don't know how big any of these were. I mean, Cody Ford's
Cody
2 year.
Ford was a good re-signing. Mike
Jaceki.
Jizeki, I liked
I
him.
don't know how dollar wise. I don't know how big some of these were.
I don't either. I didn't see anything.
Sample
Um,
Osai. How do you pronounce his name? Joseph
Osaya.
Osaya.
Yeah, he
B.J.
was a good.
Hill.
Yeah, there's some good
Hudson.
names on
Yeah.
here. Um, I was bummed when I heard Hubbard was retiring.
Yeah.
He was a darn good player.
Yeah, he was, but he was getting up there.
I mean, he was 29, and to say you're 29 years old and can retire, come on now. Alex Kappa was released. He was decent. And Sheldon Rankins, I never.
Yeah.
He was hit or miss.
I don't remember what position he was.
I can't remember either.
You're supposed to know this. You're the Bengals.
I know I'm supposed to know this, but my mind's mush right now.
Oh my God, we're overtired. We really shouldn't even be doing a video right now because we're exhausted.
Oh god. Well, I stayed up. I stupidly Thursday night when the draft started, I'm like, all right, I'll stay up, watch the Bengals do their pick, and then I'm rolling over and going to sleep. I think I watched the entire draft last Thursday night.
We watched it all Thursday night, Friday night.
Yeah.
We watched it all Saturday.
And Thursday night, it was tough because I woke up Friday morning at 4 a.m.
And can I just say that I am sorry
What?
that with the last rounds of the draft,
Yeah.
I want to watch the draft. I don't want to watch a bunch of guys talk about who already got drafted on day one.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a separate thing.
Do
ESPN,
something.
you have like 27 channels. ESPN2. You've got all these different ones.
You've got multiple platforms.
Put the actual draft on one of them and say, hey, if you want to just see the draft, go to this channel. Or NFL Network. You do it then. If they're not going to cover the on-stage stuff,
right,
put it somewhere so we can just sit back without all of that. I'll watch you guys later.
I like watching the different, like, I loved it when they had, like, International Fans of the Year and things like that, and Make-A-Wish and all that stuff.
But also, I want to see who's drafted.
Exactly. You want to see that, you know, if the player is at the stadium, you want to see them go through that tunnel.
Well, yeah, by that point, they're not. When you get there, none of them are invited. None of those guys are invited to the room out back.
Some of the players that were out back waiting for their name to be called.
Right.
Yeah, in the green room.
Right, but that's first round, and some of those guys are second round. By the time you hit, like,
right,
sixth, seventh.
I get that. But I want to be able to, like, up on the screen, they show the players at home.
Right.
And things like that. You just don't see that.
But again, they don't send film crews for the guys getting picked late in the draft.
Okay. Anyway, but just overall, that kind of stuff needs to be televised. They need to have that moment.
I want to see
that's
the
their
draft.
moment.
I want to see somebody come up on stage and say, you know, with the, I don't guess the 250th pick.
Yeah.
You know, the Bengals select
So and so.
a punter. A water boy.
He's gonna get smacked on internet. But anyway, overall, I think
you had a pretty good.
Overall, for the off season, we had a pretty good off season.
Yeah.
Draft. I
think you guys did well.
We did well. We got linebackers. We got guards.
I think I would have liked to have seen you guys take more corners and safeties.
Right.
There were some pretty good ones still there.
There were some decent ones still there, and they just, for some reason...
It's like your number one pick, Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Shamar. I watched him play.
Yeah, we watched some highlights and stuff.
Well, I mean, I follow the Gamecocks a fair amount.
Right,
and I
right.
watched him.
Yeah.
There were better edge rushers
Mm-hmm.
available.
Mm-hmm.
I could understand if you already had good edge rushers and you're like, hey, we want to go depth. You wouldn't have picked him first round probably, but
Right,
he's that
but
kind of pick
yeah.
where, or it's I want to. I've got a guy that's here for one more year. Let me work with this guy.
Yeah. And it's like a lot of comments after they announced that pick. A lot of comments in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in. They're like, great, another project. Things like that. But there were a lot of comments that are like, he's good. When he's on the field, he is good. Yes, he may be in certain aspects slow, but you look at highlights and videos,
He didn't have much in the way of sack production.
he did not.
However, a defensive edge's job is not just to sack a quarterback.
Right. They need
They're to
to.
stop the run on the
Mm-hmm.
outside. You know, that ball gets passed off to a quarterback, headed off to a running back or a quick throw over, and they're going to try to run the sides. That's part of their job is to defend against that.
Exactly.
You know, you get the corners and safeties
Sorry,
too,
I'm
but
just getting up what we did get.
they're also to get in there and disrupt things.
Yeah.
And if you can cause a quarterback to throw the ball before they're ready, you're going to cause turnovers, you're going
Yeah.
to cause incompletions, and that is just as important, especially turnovers. If you can
Right.
get them to throw it when they don't want to, and your guys can, sorry, notifications.
Yeah. Getting all kinds of stuff.
Our son and his girlfriend are out for the day, and they're bored and don't know what to do. I never really had that problem at that age.
Yeah, being 18, you're like, oh.
All right, you talk. I'll navigate kids.
Yeah, navigate the children. Jeez. But I don't even know what the heck we were talking about. I got distracted.
Shamar.
Okay. So when they drafted Shamar, my thing is like the next morning, we ended up looking up highlight reels of him. Now there was the games that the teams that he was playing against. He didn't necessarily start in all these games. He may have started in a lot of them, but then not. And then he played in all these games, but started in these many and not this many, kind of a deal. So, in the way that he had said, it's the way that they ran the defense for that team for Texas A&M. They cycled players throughout the entire game, so he didn't get a whole lot of reps or a whole lot of play time, which can hurt you sometimes because then you're not getting the experience.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We'll see how he does. I mean, I'm hoping he does very well and can stick it out and do things good.
Oh, I think
well.
he'll do well. I don't think it's a problem with that. But you guys are in a point right now where you guys really need to be winning more games.
Yeah.
I mean that sounds well like duh, but I mean you guys are kind of in a Super Bowl window
Yeah.
to a point. You're between Burrow, Chase, Higgins, not knowing what's happening with Trey. If you
Hopefully
re-sign
he
him,
stays.
you're building yourself
Please.
to go and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You need a guy that can start contributing now,
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah. And
I
not
don't
a
know if
project.
Shamar is the guy that can do it day one. Maybe he does it week 10, 11, 12, but by then, are you going to still be in a position to be making playoffs?
Right. Right.
You know.
I mean, heck, we were in the position to get into the playoffs, but the Chiefs ended up losing. So, but no.
You guys would have got crushed anyways. I'm
Oh
sorry.
God. Oh no, I totally agree with you. Because I hate to say it, I'm a Bengals fan through and through, but our defense, it was Trey, basically.
Yeah.
That was pulling the team. I'm sorry, but he needs, for a guy to be 17 and a half sacks on the season, getting the team to where they were. It was amazing, in my opinion, as to what he did. Um, and when you have a team overall that you have offense inside of the ball that's scoring all these points, but then you've got defense that can't
Your
keep
offense
you to
could keep
that.
up with anybody. Your defense couldn't stop anybody.
Right.
That was your problem. You had, I'd have to look it up, but you had multiple games where you scored over 30 points. A couple
Yeah.
where you scored almost 40, and you lost.
Yeah. I mean, the
Not
Ravens
offense's
game.
problem.
No, the Ravens game, we were up 38 something. Sorry. We're in a group chat too. Um, when we get, when you score 30 plus points in a game, especially against the Ravens,
I
and
don't
you're
think they
doing
scored over
all.
40, did they, against the Ravens?
No, we did not. We scored 38 and it was
38.
tied and it went in, I think it went into overtime and we ended up losing because of the defense. There
Yep.
was no defense. We need overall, and I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, we need O line, we need offense, we need to have."
Some people are, people I talk to, they're very much offense wins games, defense. They're like defense, yeah, almost like it doesn't matter. And it's like,
Right.
they both
It does.
matter.
Yeah, they both sides of the
The
ball matter.
Chiefs made the Super Bowl this year
Yeah.
because of their defense.
Yeah.
How
Not
many
because of
games
their
did they
offense.
win where they scored under 20 points?
Yeah.
Or 23 points or less, and they still won that game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, they got their
So-
ass handed to them in the Super Bowl because they ran up against a defense that smothered them.
Yeah.
And an offense that could get around their defense.
Right. But I mean, overall, to get back to
So, yeah, now that I'm done with that, Shamar, I'm sorry, but yeah, he's good. But yeah, he's a project, I think. And you
he's
guys
gonna
should have
end up-
drafted somebody who wasn't.
right.
There were still good guys left.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying, well, Mike Green out of Marshall.
Marshall.
He was good. He was damn good.
Yeah.
Or is damn good.
He's
There was a
got
lot of off-field
issues and injury.
Injury wasn't, no.
He had surgery.
No, he
Bless
didn't.
him.
I was mistaken, I think, on that. I don't think it was him.
You misled me.
Yes, it was somebody else. I couldn't find anything on a surgery for him. It must have been one of the other guys
All
I
right.
was thinking
well,
of.
that's fine.
He's the one that had the assault charges
charges.
against him.
Yeah, he's got a
and
couple of
There's
them.
some other stuff like that.
We don't.
Baltimore looked into it, from
Yeah.
what I read. They did an in-depth thing,
Yeah.
and felt as though everything would be okay. I don't know if that means, okay,
We can
it's
help him.
they don't believe that it's real, or they,
Or-
or this is mine. I don't know. That would be for them to determine. I haven't.
Right.
I don't know the particulars. They took him, but a lot of teams were like, I don't want that.
Yeah. I
here.
mean, I hate to say it. We dealt with that. Not assault or anything like that, but the off-field things, or even on-field, quote unquote, on sidelines and stuff like that with Eli Apple.
He got you guys a lot of penalties.
And I hate to say it, Cam Taylor-Britt is starting to go into the same thing. He doesn't go after the back talking to the fans and stuff, but he gives us a lot of penalties. There are a lot of flags thrown up because of him.
But I think you'll do fine ultimately with Shamar.
Yeah. I think from everything that I've seen of him, like after draft interviews and things like that, he's willing to work. He's willing to.
He is a super nice guy.
He's a
And
sweetheart.
he's a very, very intelligent man.
Yeah.
And he will work his ass off. Also, I think the whole lack of sacks,
Yeah.
sometimes that can come down to the play call. They may sometimes take their defensive edge, and I don't want you going right after the quarterback, because if you got a super mobile quarterback, that sometimes gives them a chance to scurry out, and there's less people to, So I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch some of the games and see if the edges are kind of holding back a little bit.
Right.
Waiting. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you play against some teams where the quarterback gets the ball out fast, or they're handing off to a running back fast. So
Yeah.
even if you're getting tackles
I
for
think there was
loss,
a couple that
it's
we
not a
saw
sack.
that he actually broke up the pass.
Oh, he's good at that.
Okay,
He's
that was him.
disruptive. People are worried about. He only had like 4.5 sacks in his college career.
Right. But that, like you
It
said,
could be the schemes that they're calling and the teams they're playing against, where sometimes sacks you're just not going to get a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
think some of that is he just wasn't getting sacks. But who
Or
was on
he
the other side of
assisted.
the ball, too, that might have been getting, 4
Yeah.
sacks a game kind
Right.
of deal,
Yeah. But so for him, yeah, okay, he's a project. But from what I'm understanding, from my take out of everything, is yeah, okay, he's a project. But he's willing to help. He's willing to work.
Yeah.
He's willing to put in that effort. So he's not so much of a handful.
Right.
Um, Now Demetrius.
I would say he would have been a much better, like, second or third round pick. But I don't know if he'd have been there by the time you guys were in a really crappy drafting position. You drafted
Yeah.
17th every
in every pick.
1 through 6.
Yeah.
You were the 17th pick in each round,
Mhm.
whatever number that comes up to
Yeah.
subsequent rounds. But you picked 17th.
Yeah.
Every round. You know,
No, I know.
that's a tough spot sometimes.
Yeah, because
a lot of the good ones are gone.
gone.
Especially in the subsequent rounds, you had teams that were picking twice above you before
Yeah.
they even got to you.
Yeah.
And you don't have really good draft picks to trade.
Mhm.
You know?
Right. Yeah. So overall for Stewart,
I think he'll be all right. I just don't know if he's. And you
Starter
guys don't have to
material.
win a Super Bowl this year. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice. I don't mean you're in that tight of a window.
right? We have the team. It's just now that we have new coaches, and these coaches, every time I see them talk, they're wanting to get to that Super Bowl level.
Well, yeah.
And
I'm
of
wondering.
course, every coach wants that, but
I'm wondering if the reason you guys didn't take a lot in the way of like corners and safeties. I wonder if Al Golden looked at the guys you've got and said, "Hey, these guys are good. They just weren't being utilized properly.
yeah,
Let me work with them. Let me get them trained up, and let me call plays that will get these guys where we need them to be."
right. I think that it's got to be ultimately all the coaches, offensive, defensive, head coach, whatever. Yeah, I put Taylor in there. But the thing is like they all have to work together. They're on
It
the
does seem
same
like sometimes
team.
they're not on the same page.
They are way off.
But we'll see. All right, so who was second round?
Second round was Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker.
Wait a minute. Let me back up for a minute here. I may have misspoke on something.
Okay.
Where was Shamar from? Was he
He was from Texas A&M.
Texas A&M? That's right. It's Demetrius. It's Gamecocks.
Yes.
Right. Shamar I had seen play. Yes, I'm getting teams mixed up. So, Knight, Demetrius.
Demetrius Knight
Okay,
Jr.
Demetrius. I want to make sure I was pronouncing that right. Him I've watched play a lot because I do watch the Gamecocks a lot.
Okay.
Shamar I have seen because I tend to watch a lot of people that play Texas A&M.
Right.
It's not that I don't follow Texas A&M any. I don't have anything
Well,
against them.
no.
They're not a team that I'm like really high on.
Yeah.
But a lot of the teams I like tend to play them.
Right. Right.
So I did see him there. Yes, it's. Oh, I told you what frickin' tell you. Demetrius Knight. He's the one that is the super smart. Graduated. He's the one that's married with 2 kids.
That's right. Yes.
He's
he
the
is.
one that graduated from Georgia Tech or one of those places.
Georgia
after
Tech.
3 years.
Yes.
Was it Georgia? It might have been.
It was Georgia Tech.
Was it?
3 years. He graduated early.
And yeah, he is the guy that I think was your best pick of the draft.
Yeah.
He is. Yes, he is.
And
super
I heard
disruptive.
some of the analysts
Getting
during
in
the
that.
draft, during one of the shows before another round of the draft started, was that they called him an old soul, because he is married. He's got 2 kids. He's already graduated.
Working on his master's in
He's
something.
working on his master's in,
Couple of things.
I want to say sports engineering, but
Sports
I'm not
engineering
sure.
and
Something
some
else.
other engineering thing. He's an engineering major.
So for him to be that grounded and that set on what he wants, you know he's not a project. He's gonna go in and be like, okay, this is how coaches need me to be. I'm gonna do it. That's what I get out of him.
Right. No, go ahead. I'm just checking, making sure that everything here is working.
My-
Our
my-
camera was freezing up early while we were
Right.
setting up.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, we look over, it was just frozen.
did that a couple of times, and so far, knock on wood,
It seems to be fine.
um,
Although the lighting is horrible for some reason, and I
Well.
don't know why.
I'm not sure either, honey.
You keep talking.
You're the tech savvy one.
Yeah.
I
If
just
we
sit
did this
here.
more than once every 2 months, I'd remember all the settings.
That's a. I'm orange. Woohoo!
Well, there's some of these lights set up behind you.
But
I don't know.
next one was I have to click on these. It's a guard Dylan Fairchild out of
I do
Georgia.
not know this guy, but O-line out of Georgia, if he was a starter with them
Right.
and playing often, I would have to go ahead and say
he
he's
was a good
probably
pick. Yeah.
pretty good.
I'm just gonna run right through these real quick. Try to anyway. Linebacker Barrett Carter. Everything keeps bouncing as I'm trying to read things, but he was out of Clemson. I don't know a whole lot, but Clemson's a pretty damn good team.
Clemson's a good team.
So,
I mean, I don't like them, but they're a good team.
well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, so not sure on how he's going to do on things.
Well, the Clemson Tigers, and you guys are the Bengals, so at least he knows what a tiger is.
Yeah, he's got the mascot down. Wait a minute. No, I did not skip. Offensive tackle, Jalen Rivers. Out of Miami, I think it was. These stupid things keep bouncing around. Yeah, Miami. So, again, that's another.
They're a good team.
They're
I
a good
don't
team,
like them,
but then
they're a good
again,
team.
they're not Alabama.
No, but I mean,
Auburn,
well,
they're-
there's years that they're better than them.
Well,
You know,
yes, but
no, they're a good team. They're well coached.
right.
Yeah, I mean, he came from a good school, football school.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of Miami's games.
Unfortunately.
I just don't. A lot of times it's because they're playing when somebody I do want to watch is playing. And a lot of the teams that I watch only play them every now and then.
Yeah.
It seems.
And not only that, it gets kind of tiresome bouncing from channel to channel to okay,
I'm
this
not a
is not a
big Miami
commercial, so
fan.
we'll go to this game.
I'm just not a huge fan of.
If football's on, I want to watch it.
Oh yeah, that's me too. But there's just better games to watch.
And it's funny because growing up, I never thought I'd ever say that. Yeah. But here we are. And our last pick was Texas Tech, Taj Brooks. I hope I pronounced that right. Last name I know I can.
What position is he?
He was.
I thought it just said it.
Running back.
Running back. Well, you need running backs.
Yeah. So. And we picked him up later in the draft. It wasn't like he was that position was a top need. Because, we do have Chase Brown.
You do.
But
if
he
although you did take one free agency, you took a halfback. Free agency. Off-season, free agency.
Oh.
You took a halfback, didn't you?
Oh, Perrine.
Oh, yeah.
2-year deal.
Samaje. Again, sorry.
Sorry if we butcher your name, but that's just
So you got him.
we're in New England. We pronounce things weird.
And running back was not your biggest need.
No, it wasn't.
If you find that you really want a good power back,
yeah.
you know, everybody wants Saquon Barkley, but I mean a him, a Montgomery, those kind of guys.
Yeah.
You got next year draft.
Yeah.
There'd probably be some coming
Right.
up through.
Right.
I mean, you had Genty and Scatterboo this year that were, I think, were two of the best.
Yeah, they were. I was hoping Genty, but I knew he was going to go top 10.
Genty was going to be gone.
He was going to be gone.
We all pretty much knew the Raiders were taking him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And glad for him. I think Cam Scatterboo should have gone a lot earlier than he did, but that's how the teams.
He got drafted, and he got drafted to my brother's team, the Giants. So.
Which sucks because I really like Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah.
So I really want him to do well, but I really don't care for the Giants that much. I don't dislike any team, like really. I mean.
Right. No, but
the Chiefs a little.
Yeah.
And it's not the players.
It's not the
fans.
It's
some
just
of the fans.
Some of the fans. Some of the fans are really nice, really good.
Some are not. And that's the same with any fan base. I don't care which one it is.
Any fan base.
You will find a-holes everywhere.
And I've got to, every time we talk about their fan base, I got to laugh because James's girlfriend, Chelsea, her older brother is like a band, she calls him the bandwagon fan.
He didn't become a fan
fan
until they really started winning. But then again, he's only like 19.
Yeah.
So.
When he knew that, because he knows that I'm a Bengals fan, when he knew that James and I were going there to pick her up or whatever, he came out with his Mahomes jersey on and strutting around, and I'm just like, that's good, whatever.
So, anyways,
but
oops.
And we go into the undrafted free agents,
right?
Which we did a lot of signings.
So I want to preface this. We must have checked 8 or 10 different places for undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
And every place had a different list. Some of the names were the same, but then there was some that weren't there, but others were. And some of them were 22 hours old or 19 hours old. Some were like 4 hours old.
So it's like...
We went with PFF.
Yes.
Because it seemed to have, like I said, there'd be like these 3 that were always on them. And then other ones that they were scanning. They seemed to have all the names together. So as of Sunday the 27th of February 2025 at, 14:53 hours, or 2:53 for anyone else.
It does military
this is
time.
the list. Well, I used it for a lot of years. This is the list that we have. And this could change at any moment.
Yeah, it can.
You took a quarterback, Peyton Thorne out of Auburn.
Okay.
I am probably pretty sure he's going to be a practice squad guy.
Or third backup.
Third backup, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of your practice squad guy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Running back, Quali, Quali, Connolly out of Arizona. Not super familiar with him. Now, it says Arizona. So I don't know if he was Arizona
State, Arizona
University.
There's so many different colleges in each state that it's like, well, which are you?
Bengals signed Connolly to priority free agent deal. So you picked up another running back there that, I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Because what I'm getting, if he was at Arizona State.
Yeah. That's where Scatterboo was.
And I always get that mixed up. That's Arizona State.
Yeah.
So if you're behind Cam Scatterboo, you're not getting much play time.
Yeah.
Even if you're really good,
you
weren't going to get
any.
That's like the guy that was the running back behind Aston Genty at Boise.
Yeah.
Could be amazing, but he probably wasn't getting any time.
Right, because Genty was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's like being Patrick Mahomes' backup QB.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to sit there. I don't care who you are. You're just going to sit there.
Yeah.
Because the bastard never seems to get hurt, which is good, but I mean, wide receiver Jamoy Hayes out of Cincy. To Cincy. At least he's a local guy.
Yeah.
Went school local.
Yeah.
And wide receiver Jordan Moore out of Duke. I don't really know either one of them.
No.
Probably again, and another wide receiver there. Rashad Owens out of Oklahoma State. They are depth players, most likely.
Yeah.
Rashad Owens. Oh,
If he's Oklahoma State, that's a pretty darn
yeah,
good.
I wanted to see a picture because okay,
Okay.
I think I do recognize him.
He's got to see a photo
I
of a
am
person's
terrible with
face.
names.
He is. He is
Horrible
very...
with names. Faces and voices I almost never forget. Names I don't. It's not that I don't care, but I almost don't care. I used to have so many little bastard privates that I used to have to try to remember names to, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I just don't.
God. Only with me, he's always like, "Hey, you."
Tight end Cole Taylor from West Virginia.
Okay.
Don't know him, but
I don't either,
again, he's
but
probably just
another
a lot of these are
backup
depth
or
guys.
Yeah.
Center Seth McLaughlin out of Ohio State. Now, Ohio State center Seth McLaughlin, number one on ESPN's best available player list post draft. So he was the number one player not drafted. So in other words, after all the draft, they look at who's left,
Yeah.
and they rank them as, and he
Right.
was
Number
the
one.
best guy that didn't get drafted, according to ESPN. Now,
How reliable that is,
who at ESPN? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Is signing an undrafted free agent deal with the Bengals per his agency.
I'll take it.
I mean, they did just win a national championship. I don't know if Seth was the center. He might have been. Center's a funny position. It's like centers and nose guards.
Yeah.
I've seen them get taken high in the draft,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen them just become undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
Like kickers and punters are
Right.
rarely ever drafted. They're
Yeah.
picked up in free agency afterwards.
Yeah.
Undrafted.
Which kind of surprised me when and I think it surprised you too, is when I said that, the Ravens took a kicker. And they're like, what?
If they're really good,
Yeah.
then yes.
Yeah.
Kickers sometimes a little bit more. Punters,
Right.
there's so many of them out there a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
not a
we'll
position
find
that
out.
you need a ton of backups for. The guys don't get hurt too often.
No.
You know?
No,
they can.
they don't.
They
They
obviously
can,
pull
well,
a muscle.
yes.
They can get run into. They can get hurt. But
Well,
if
I
you've got
mean-
one decent backup,
Look at what happened to McPherson
yeah.
at the end of the season. He ended up
Um,
pulling a groin or whatever he did.
Tackle Caleb. I think that's Etienne. Etienne.
Yeah.
Like
That's like,
Travis Etienne and those
Yeah.
guys. BYU.
again,
O-line, Caleb Etienne.
don't
third
really
sources.
know. We'll have to see. I'm just praying that they do.
And I mean, BYU has a decent team. They're one of those teams that some years they're great and some years they're mediocre.
Yeah.
This year I think they did pretty good.
But,
So there's another O-line guy as well as your center.
yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first
Excuse
8 are all offense, which to me
Yeah.
now you go defensive interior. Eric Gregory out of Arkansas. Defensive interior. Howard Cross the third from Notre Dame. That's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah.
Safety
Shaquan.
Shaquan Loyal, Rutgers. No clue because
Yeah.
again I see a couple of Rutgers games a year at best.
Every once in a while, just because
and then
of
William
our location.
Wagner, LS, long snapper.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to think what. Left safety? That doesn't make any sense. They did all the done me. Stupid. Long snapper. William Wagner from Michigan. Again, long
right.
snappers are usually a pickup like this. They don't get drafted.
Yeah.
A lot of times you've got guys that can long snap that are O-line guys or D-line guys anyways that they just, hey, yeah, I used to long snap for my high school team or whatever. Oh, okay. Train them up a little bit, you're
yeah.
good to go. Because,
Yeah. My thing is like,
and I shouldn't say a lot of times. I've seen that. I don't know how often that
right,
happens.
with all these signings, with the re-signings and in the off season, the new arrivals, what we picked up in the draft and what we just picked up overnight, basically. I think that training camp is going to be interesting.
That's, according to PFF, that's 12 signings.
In the undrafted.
Undrafted. Now, I'm going to say that 7 of these guys aren't on the team within 2 months.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But at least it gives them a shot to try.
You got 3 wide receivers on here.
Yeah.
You might keep one.
Yeah.
The two defensive interior guys, you might keep one. Um, he's a defensive tackle. Says he a DT. Eric Gregory. Bengals on a deal that includes a $30,000 signing bonus. Yeah, I don't know.
But all in all, with everything, I know I'm pausing because I'm trying to find words. With everything that, like I said, we have done in the off season and the past few days and last night, overnight, with signing the undrafted, like I just said, training camp is going to be interesting because they got the rookie training camp and then they have the training camp for the whole team. I'm interested because there are fans that can go to the training camps and they take photos or take short little videos on certain snippets of the training, which I'm guessing you're allowed to do because they're posting it on things.
Certain
So
certain trainings are open to the public. Certain
trainings are
are
not.
not.
Right. So seeing, like last season, seeing the different variations of the training camp and different players working out and seeing how they're communicating and see how well they meld with the veterans on the team and things like that. That's another thing that needs to be looked at too. Not just their talent, is how they mesh with the the team itself. In my opinion, I
Um,
mean, I'm not saying that they all have to be buddy buddy and things like that. I mean, it'd be great, but I mean, teammates and or anybody in any line of work, they're gonna butt heads. It's just how it is.
so this Gregory,
Yeah.
the 2024-2025 season.
Season.
Games played 12.
Okay.
Games started 12. Solo tackles 17.
Okay.
Assists 25. Tackles for loss 5. Sacks 3. Pass breakups 1. Pass defense 1. So not too bad. Total for his career: 61 games played, 44 started. It's 135 total games. 53 total. 50. No, it's 135 total tackles. 53 solo, 82 assists, 18 and a half tackles for loss, 9 and a half sacks, 3 pass breakups.
All right.
He's. I just saw. It was this one right here that gave me some physical stats. He's 6'4", 320 pounds.
Yeah. So.
He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 in September. He was born 9/13/2000. 25 this year. Oh my god.
Yeah. Let's not go there.
Yeah, I mean he might be a good one.
Yep. We'll have to see. Like I said, training camp is where they, I think, really
Oh yeah, they'll start cutting and
weed
moving.
weed people out and move things around. It's like, okay, you're a guard. You were a guard in college, but you're for our team and for this fit. I think you'd be better here.
Yeah. I think
Go train with this coach.
I think expectations for your Bengals this year.
Yes.
Obviously, you're gonna make the playoffs. If you miss the playoffs this year,
Yeah.
then I think Taylor's head needs to roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
Um,
ultimately he's the
who's
head
left?
coach and he's the only one that's
You've
left.
changed offensive and defensive coordinators.
Assistant one.
You've changed a whole bunch of people. The only coaching that's left is him. I don't know about your GM because I don't know who your GM is and how long he's been there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Taylor and GM's jobs need to be on the line. They need to be told this year we either make a deep run in the playoffs Obviously, if all of a sudden everybody's hurt and
Oh yeah,
injured,
duh.
there isn't a lot they can do about it. If they end up in the Lions' position in the last game of the season with they start the game with 21 guys on IR,
Yeah.
and they're almost all defensive players.
Right.
Okay, but no, you guys need to make a deep run in the playoffs. We need to see that defense gel.
Yeah.
We need to see play calling work. Your offense is good. You really just need to maintain that. You can always pick up more. Everybody wants to score more. But yeah.
Yeah, it's Duke Tobin is the general manager.
I thought I heard something out there.
Doesn't show. Let's see. Um,
Yeah.
it won't show the
Anyways,
anyway. But yeah,
I
no.
mean, in all reality, you guys need a new owner. But
Yeah, someone who's willing to help and do
well, someone who's willing to spend the money.
that too.
Although he was willing to spend it with Chase and
Higgins.
I mean, you can't fault him there. He spent the money there, and he spent it with
Exactly.
Burrow.
It took Chase and Higgins over a year for him to.
Oh yeah,
sign 'em.
he should have done it long
The
before that because it
holdouts
would have saved
and-
him money.
Yeah.
But
And the same thing like he did with Burrow. Burrow didn't hold out and things like that. It was just the owner.
Right.
But
I
Well-
think you guys. What do you think your record? Well, I mean, I would go too great into that until we see preseason and stuff. But
yeah, I think honestly, because last season we were 9-8, we ended 9-8.
I think this year. Man, you guys need to be in that 12-5 range.
I know.
I mean, that's
Hopefully
only-
we can do it, and
that's only
hopefully
three
Joe
more-
stays healthy.
That's only 3 more wins, but you got to at least be 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think 14-3. You guys need to win your division,
Yeah,
which
and
is not
easy.
easy. But here's the thing. I think the Browns and the Steelers, they got a lot of
They got a lot of
people
new,
in key
yeah,
positions coming in.
yeah,
So they may take half the season to really gel with their offense, especially and stuff.
yeah,
I don't know. It all depends on who's going to be the Steelers' quarterback.
right.
I know they
Well,
got
they-
a bunch in there, but they're still waiting on
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
So the Ravens are really your biggest threat. I mean, Lamar Jackson is great. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say he's not
no,
taking
he
anything away
is
from
very
Lamar.
versatile. Not only at
They
throwing
also
but running.
have a bunch of other guys in there that are amazing. So they're the ones that you really kind of got to be like, all right, we got to go for their
Yeah.
throat and really stay ahead of them.
Yeah,
I mean, the Browns, the Steelers could come out and amaze everybody and just, well, look at this, we just won 15 games.
exactly.
Crazier stuff has happened, but they're your biggest ones, and got to have some luck in the AFC that there's some other teams that don't do so well.
Right.
Because I think your defense may take more than this year to really gel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
New coordinator, new players, new schemes are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
we'll
guys
have to
have-
see. I'm hopeful that we can get up there with games and stuff like that. but-
Obviously, you're going to have the Chiefs that you're going to have to deal with,
Oh yeah.
and I'm thinking playoff time.
Yep.
Although I've seen some top analysts saying they're not even sure they said there's a potential they don't even make the playoffs. I don't believe that, but there's a
Oh
potential
right.
that they don't.
It's the Chiefs.
You're
They're-
going to have them.
right.
You're going to have probably the Ravens.
Yeah.
I
I think we played them twice. I'm trying to.
Oh, you do play them twice.
I believe.
I'm talking in the playoffs.
Oh
In
yeah.
the playoffs, they're probably going to be there. Now, whether you play them or not, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
The Bills, the Broncos. You're going to have some really stiff competition
Yeah. We
in
play.
the AFC.
Now, of course, I know that the official schedule hasn't come out yet, but the teams that we're playing, yeah, the Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Jags,
Yep.
Jets, Patriots, Bears, Cardinals. Oh, we got to play the Lions.
But it's a home game.
That's a home game, yes. That's a September game, yes. And then we play the Dolphins away.
The Bills away. The Broncos away. Vikings and Packers. Wait a minute.
Okay, he's taking my phone.
You got Bears, Lions, Vikings, Packers. You play every team in the NFC North this year. A division that's another one where I think is one of the tougher divisions as far as the whole division goes.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you can look and say, well, this team's the best in the NFC. If you take AFC,
Yeah.
most people will point, the Chiefs are the best in the
Yeah.
AFC.
Yeah.
But AFC North, your division, I think is the toughest division in the AFC.
Yeah.
Because you guys beat the ever living crap out of each other. Even when you're having bad years.
Yeah.
The Browns have had years, man, where they barely even won. I think they even. I don't know if they ever went completely winless. They may have. I think they did.
Yeah.
But they still played the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
When it's like, geez, I'm almost undefeated. You're almost winless, and you're kicking my ass out here on the field.
Right.
I'm really going to fight you hard to win.
Oops.
And part of that is you play each other twice a year, every year.
Yeah.
You learn how each other plays. And you know how to scheme for it.
Yeah.
But and NFC, the NFC North is another one of those divisions that Packers have always kind of been of that division, kind of not always. Them and the Bears were the premier teams.
Yeah.
If you go back far enough, the Bears were.
Right.
And Lions and Vikings were kind of the stepchild that was there. Well,
right.
now it's the Lions,
yeah.
then the Packers, Vikings last year over the Packers.
Yeah.
And
then the Bears.
But the Bears had a good draft. I think they picked up some decent guys. We've got to see what Caleb Williams does. The biggest thing is they've got a brand new head coach who is good as a coordinator. How he does as a head coach, I don't know.
Yeah, because with the offseason, not only players being moved around, coaches were being moved around.
I think there's one other really important thing that we should discuss.
What's that?
And it seriously is an important thing, is your stadium.
Yes.
They did just sign
they just
I don't know what you call it.
Bengals organization and Hamilton County came up with an agreement that they are going to spend, I can't remember how much it is.
Was it like 800 and something million?
No, that's overall.
Okay.
They want to break it into phases because they came up with it that Hamilton County will pay this much, Bengals will pay this much to come up with that total. Mm-hmm. Hamilton County is going for state level funding to get more funding to finish off the rest of the different phases.
Right. But Right. Here's kind of where I'm thinking on some of this. Do you think that the Bengals will have a new stadium within the next 5 to 10 years?
A brand new one? I don't think so.
The only problem with a major renovation of your existing stadium is, where do you play? Because a major renovation can take a year and a half.
Yeah.
Where do you play?
Right.
Now, I don't know. I mean, you've got Cincinnati Bearcats Stadium, but you can't hold anybody in there compared to what you can hold at Paycor. And the whole facility is not set up to handle that.
Right. Yeah. And if they close off, okay, this section is going to be renovations.
Yeah, you really can't do that.
Hard.
You really have to shut the whole stadium down to do it properly.
Yeah.
To really get in there.
Right.
And I get where people are coming from. They're like, why are the teams asking taxpayers to build stadiums and to repair it? The point to that is, Hamilton County said to the Bengals organization, long time ago, but at one point in time, if you will come here and play, we will build and maintain a stadium for you.
Yeah.
An agreement was struck on that.
Right.
Now a lot of these cities and counties and states are backing out because of the cost.
Yeah.
And saying to the teams, you need to pay it. If you rent a house and your furnace dies or your roof leaks, that's not on you no matter how much money you have. That's on your landlord.
Yeah.
So either sell the stadium to the team and let the team reap all the benefits, the tickets, the parking.
Yeah.
When a concert wants to happen, they get paid.
Yeah.
They get all the commissions, and they pay your income tax and sales sales tax and property tax.
Yeah.
Or honor the agreement and fix it.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of them being publicly owned stadiums.
Right.
Because I don't think taxpayer dollars should be going to that. But if you're going to make the agreement, we
Mm-hmm.
will build and maintain a stadium for you if you will come play in our city or our state or whatever level you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Then you honor that contract.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see with all
And
of
Paycor is
that.
a nice looking stadium. Obviously,
Yeah.
I've never been there.
No,
I mean, maybe
I
it's
want to go.
falling
That's
off.
my wish
Maybe
list.
it's falling down and sinking into the ground. I have no idea. But it looks nice. It seems to be in a decent location.
Yeah.
I've been to Cincinnati. I've been to the airport. That's it.
He's been closer to it than I have.
And that was in the 1990s, flying from Fort Jackson back to Maine because they flew me west to fly me north.
I don't know.
It's the
honey.
army. Lucky
It's-
we knew what direction north was.
It was the government. Let's not ask. But no, that's on. He knows it. It's on my bucket list to go to a game.
We are trying to.
Yeah, we looked at it for this year, but we just can't swing it this year.
It's a long trip for us.
Yeah, it is. It's what a
14 or 15 hour drive one way.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to fly right now.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of flying anymore.
Right.
And I just really would rather not. And I don't know how many direct flights or easy it is to fly from Maine into Cincy anymore.
Right.
Because hubs get changed in carriers.
All that stuff. Yeah.
It's
just easier. We have our own vehicle.
Tickets aren't the tickets for the game aren't the worst part of the whole thing.
No, it's all the travel
We
expenses.
would have to have probably 3 hotels.
Yeah.
One on the way out.
Yeah.
One there.
And one on the way back.
home.
Yeah.
So at least 3 nights in hotels.
Mm-hmm.
All of our meals.
Thank
gas.
God I have more PTO.
I mean, your little Bronco Sport does really good on fuel on the highway. So.
Yeah.
But still.
But still, you're going to need to stop.
Yeah, it's a long drive.
We're going to need to make pit stops.
Oh yeah.
Because bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
Snacks.
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
It's also one of those things we'd be gone for. We'd have to leave here Saturday morning at the latest
Yep.
to really make it worthwhile. Go watch a Sunday game, spend Sunday night, and head home Monday. But we wouldn't be home till sometime Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that's all right. You're missing 2 days of work. You got plenty of PTO, paid time off.
Oh, God, yeah.
But we're gone Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days. With a kid, our daughter will still be in school.
Yeah.
She needs to be up at 6 a.m. to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Even if your mother watches her, your mother doesn't get up until 11, so she doesn't go to bed until 3.
Yeah. Hey, they're both retired. They're allowed.
She's a wicked night owl. So
Yeah,
I mean,
she is.
it's just one of those things that
Yeah.
we almost have to wait until Katie graduates in 2025.
2028.
2028. It is 2020. Wow. I am.
Our son is graduating this
Yeah.
year, honey.
And when we say that we are
Exhausted.
we have been doing so much to get ready for a 3-person graduation party here. 2
Yes.
other kids
Yes.
are having it here. Our son's girlfriend and her family's coming here, and then our son's best friend, because he wouldn't get anything if we didn't do it. There would be nothing. Same thing we did at Christmas.
Yeah, we got him a bunch of stuff for
We
Christmas.
had him here because when we found out that there wouldn't have been anything, we were both pissed.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
no,
this
you
is
don't do
happening.
that.
So for graduation, it's like every night we're talking about what we're doing just to make sure that
There's
we
been
have
so
it
much
set in
yard
stone.
work, and I've been making runs to the dump, and then I spend a week laid up because
Yeah.
I found out I'm not 20 years old anymore, trying to lift something that's almost 200 pounds up over my head over the deck and hand it to my son. He's
When-
like, "Dad, why don't you just let me do it?" Because I forget you're 18 and played, defensive edge in high school football.
Yeah. So he did a stupid. I've done things that it hasn't fully put me laid up, but shifting boxes and stuff like that at work.
So anyways,
you twist
we
wrong.
just
it just So it is.
It's been 3 weeks of just constant nonstop, and we don't even know whether we're coming or going half the time. So it's probably rambled a bit on this video. Yeah, we just hit an hour.
Yeah. So apologies that it's long, but we also wanted to get our points across on both our opinions on everything.
And I think once you get a chance to see like practices, preseason games,
yes.
But even before that, maybe fine tune. We can watch some highlights of at least the draft picks.
Yes. Yeah, I do want to do that. At least
we watch some, but really sit down and analyze it, and then you can do a video on Shamar.
Yeah, and then another one on Demetrius, and so on and so forth. All
and
the
those
way
can
down
be
through.
10 or 15-minute videos.
Yeah.
They don't have to be super long.
Yeah. So, like he said, we will be getting more videos out. It's just...
And kind of, if anybody does watch this and comments, wants to comment on it, throw in your comments of what you think of the picks.
Right.
I don't think Shamar is a bad pick. I'm not so sure he's the guy I would have picked first overall. There were better defensive edge guys still out there.
But even still, aside from that, definitely comment on these videos. I love...
Comment, like, and subscribe helps her channel a lot.
Yeah.
And it really is her. She's the one that sets this up. I handle the technical side, and I feed her questions or topics.
Yeah.
But
he's
the one that figures out what the video's going to be.
Yeah.
And the more she does it and the better she gets, the less I'm going to do. So the better she gets, the less you'll have to see me.
He'll be more behind the camera over here.
Thank God. You want to wear pants.
Oh, jeez, honey. But anyway,
no,
we will be uploading more videos, and please don't forget to comment and definitely subscribe and like, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.